Mr. Right here, and in this film we'll understand how to find the mean. Now often people think, wait a minute, the mean, which one is that? So here is a rhyme to help you. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle, you add and divide for the mean. Right, you add and divide for the mean. You add and divide for the mean. Let's have a look at an example. Now, let's follow the instructions first, and then we'll understand why it is that you add and divide for the mean. Let's start with these 5 numbers here. The instruction is you add and divide by the mean. So I'm going to add up those 5 numbers, work out their total, and then I'm going to divide by the number of numbers. So I'm going to divide by 5 because there are 5 numbers. So on my calculator, I'm doing 80 plus 120 plus 160 plus 60 plus 250 gives me a total of 670. So the total is 670, and the mean will be that total. You add and divide for the mean, divided by, how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, divided by 5. So the mean will be 134. Now the mean is one of the ways of getting a number which kind of gives you the typical number, kind of gives you a feel for the typical number from a list of numbers. It's one of 3 ways of calculating the average. Now, why do you add and divide for the mean? Well, what we're doing really is we're sharing out these 5 amounts equally. So, for example, if it was the number of sweets that 5 people had, one person's got 80, 120, one person's got 160, one person's got 60 sweets, and one person's got 250 sweets. A way of working out what the typical number would be to put all the sweets in a pile and then share out those 670 sweets equally between the 5 people. And if you did that, each person would get 134 sweets. So 134 is the mean of the number of sweets. All right, let's have a look at an example here. Well, why don't you pause the film, work this one out, won't take you 2 minutes, and then see if you agree with me. Right, the total of those numbers, and then I'm going to get the total, and then to find the mean, I'm going to get the total and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Right, the total of those numbers, 8 plus 5, plus 13 plus 6, plus 24 plus 19, plus 10. Well, I make the total 85, and 85 divided by 7 gives me 12.1 to 1 decimal place. So my mean there is 12.1. So if you had those 7 numbers and somebody said, what's the mean of those numbers? The answer is 12.1. Now, after that example, maybe this question, can you have halves, is kind of obvious because in this question here, the one we've just done, we had a decimal answer. But let's just talk about, can you have halves? Well, let's have a look at this example here. Maybe pause the film, have a read of the question, have a go at the question, and then see if you and I agree. 4 families all have children. Family A has 4 children, family B has 3 children, family C has 2 children, and family D has 5 children. What is the mean number of children per family? Right, well, let's work out the total number of children. 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5, 14 children in total. So the mean would be the total. You add and divide for the mean. This time, I'm going to divide by 4. 14 divided by 4 to give me an idea of the typical number of children per family. I get 3.5. So that is the mean number of children correctly worked out. But you see, it's bizarre because there's no way that a family could have 3.5 children. But nonetheless, that is the mean number of children per family. Okay, so here is A quick reminder for you. Here we go. Finding a mean. You add and divide for the mean. And if you remember that rhyme, that'll be enough for you. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle, you add and divide for the mean. Or if you want a list of instructions, here you are. Number 1, find the total. Number 2, divide the total by the number of values. And number 3, write down the answer. And that's how to find a mean.